keep it rolling.
So now we have sound on and we're live. So anyone who's watching, you need to tell us how our sound's doing. Tell us how our picture is.
Sound check.
Yeah. We need to adjust
Sound
our
check.
white
One,
balance
check,
also.
one,
check,
two.
one.
Not only is Benji's hair red, his face is red.
Gotta adjust the hue.
Dan, turn your sound
Anyone
off.
who's watching, you need to tell us how our sound's doing.
Again,
Some
do
feedback.
Yeah.
There's definitely some feedback. I hear feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used this loader for a while and definitely need to get it back up and going.
I have the
Definitely a
parts
cool
you
thing.
need, so
Yeah,
I will
it's all I need is
just need a lid.
just need a lid.
It's got the good old
I'll
shell,
let you test it out.
which is solid. Okay.
That's sweet. It's by
Cool.
Wallace.
We're
Yeah.
gonna start in a few seconds.
We're starting now. We have sound on.
Yeah.
So let's introduce ourselves.
Nathan. Just Nathan.
Just Nathan, like the hot dog.
Just Nathan. I'm just Tom.
I'm just Dan.
I'm Benjamin Silverstein.
Easy, you're just
Both
Benji.
names.
So we may also have Tim Kerrigan showing up at some point as well.
That's true.
And when he does, I'll jump out of the seat. He'll jump here. But today we're gonna talk about Tom's history with Splat Kids. Nate's gonna share some new I&I talk. He always has the latest on the street.
The latest and the latest.
I'm gonna go have some coffee. And what else are we talking about, Benji? Benji has a whole list of things that we should have printed out.
We're going to talk a little bit about Free Flow coming back, their new old autocockers. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super 7, which was live today. I'm not sure if it's still live, but 15 balls per second. The paint flies again. And we're going to talk about the EMEC, which we shot weekend before last, which is amazing. And what else? We're going to talk about the Legend, which Tom here was the lead tech for.
Yep.
And what else? We got, Dan brought out a bunch of his old cockers. We got some cool banners from Tombstone Reball Center. Got some 3D printed stuff. Silencer for mag. So yeah, it's going to be a good show. If you guys have any input, you can comment, and we have the comment section on the side live now.
Yeah,
which Dan hooked
it
up.
should be working.
Which actually is YouTube and Facebook all together going the same thing. So
Yeah, so
so that's kind of cool.
were these just stickers or did you have that engraved?
No, that was laser engraved.
Oh, sick. Do you still
Yeah.
have that one?
Not that one.
Oh,
so
man.
that was
Do you
your
have
original
one?
one.
Someone stole it.
Yeah.
Do you have one that's engraved?
So
No,
if you
but I
guys
know people
want
who
to
do.
watch the
Oh,
show
yeah.
on Facebook, we are streaming now on the
I never wanted to.
PBDnA
I got my
Facebook page.
prototype.
We're on BacciPaintball.
We're on
We haven't
BacciPaintball
set
now.
it up on
Never mind.
on PBDnA yet.
Okay, so we're still live on the BacciPaintball page. Make sure you share it up, and let's get right into it. We have Tom here, who currently works with Glenn at Ambush Paintball Park, but he has done some cool things in paintball. He's got a nice little history in paintball, including playing for the Splat Kids, which were a pretty famous divisional paintball team. You know, took a lot of first places. They got a lot of magazine coverage, a lot of paintball movie coverage.
Yeah.
You want to just start us off? Give
Yeah,
us
sure.
a little background.
All right, so the beginning of Splat Kids. All right, well, so Dynasty Entourage had this big tryout. I don't know if you guys remember this. It was going to be,
What year?
this was 05,
Yeah,
maybe
I heard
06.
about that. Yeah,
It was huge. About 100 people were invited. You had to actually apply, and if you got the okay, it came out. It was at Hollywood Sports Park. There was about 100 people, and these were like kids from the East Coast whose parents were like, "Yeah, we'll if he makes the team, we'll be out here every single weekend to practice."
Like serious
This
tryouts.
this was the most serious tryout I think there's ever been.
So it's not like your average SoCal tryout where there's 100 kids and most of them play D5. It was like
This was
killers.
It was going to be a Divisional 2 team for NPPL and XPSL, and then possibly PSP. I forget, but yeah. So about 100 people came out. I didn't have any real tournament experience other than like a couple little local tournaments and whatnot. So I didn't think I was gonna get selected. I did. I was ecstatic. I was on cloud 9. You know, I was like 16, 17 years old. And, you know, Team Dynasty, this is when it was Oliver Lang. This was, you know,
right.
Team Dynasty was #1. Like, they won every single tournament.
Were they going to be grooming the entourage?
They were going to be grooming the entourage guys. We'd be practicing with them. And it wasn't really discussed, but they basically said it was going to be a full ride. Oh, wow. Which is, that's something else. Yeah. And so, get to that tryout. I actually played really good. I won all my one-on-ones, and then there was this.
Well, what did the tryout constitute?
It was loads of one-on-ones, and then a lot of drills. So they would give us like 3 balls and be like, oh, you got you guys got to exactly. You guys got to close it out. They did sprints. They were doing like endurance training. It was no joke. And
who was there actually running it? Just all the Dynasty players of the time.
Yeah. So a couple of the Dynasty guys were doing the one-on-ones and playing against us, and then Glenn Forrester and Rodney Squires, the 2 brains of Dynasty and the whole Dynasty franchise. They were the guys with the clipboards, and one of the games it was like a 3-on-2, Oliver Lang in the corner, and I want to say maybe Yosh in the other one, and I got up, got all sneaky and ghosted, and then I was able to shoot Oliver Lang, and then we closed out against Yosh. And I remember this because at the time these guys were all gods to me. I remember Rodney was like, hey, good job, and I was that coming from Rodney is saying something. If you know Rodney, he's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's not.
But
he doesn't easily give out those compliments.
Yeah, he doesn't give out compliments, but he is a phenomenal paintballer. He's he's been around forever, and he made Entourage, all the guys on Entourage basically, pro players. He took a bunch of kids and made them the best, and so give him that. And so that tryout ended, and they said, don't contact us, we'll contact you, we have your info, you'll hear from us, and if you don't, thanks for coming out. And so I was checking I was checking my email like every 20 minutes,
checking your Nokia.
Yeah.
Anyone notice very notable that also participated in that?
It was a lot of the Break 50 guys.
Anybody that you thought would make the cut that didn't?
There were. I remember there was one kid from the East Coast who was like an X-ball player, and he was really, really athletic, and he was good, and he didn't make the cut, but
wow.
I thought he was gonna make it for sure. But basically all the Break 50 guys made it. Mark Lack, Tom, like the core. These guys were really good. They were also a rookie team that were blowing through all the competition. And so those guys made it, and I made it, and a couple other guys made it. So it came down to like a 14-person tryout. And they just did like 7-on-7s, a bunch of drills, and this was up at...
So you're doing second rounds to
it was
pick
second
7 total or 10?
Yeah, I think about like 8.
Okay.
And this was held at Warped Paintball Park up in Castaic, which is Glenn's field. So Glenn was able to help with the tryouts, and it was basically like Glenn's team versus Rodney's team. Like
the guys they picked out from the tryouts.
More or less, I don't know who was picked out. It was they just split us up, and they were giving us game plans and like adjusting game plans, and so it was mostly like, we're all athletic, we're all like good at snap shooting, good at running and gunning. I was on the same page, but like, can you be coached? Can you listen to me, trust me, execute the game plan? I think that's what it mostly was, because that's what you need when you're grooming players. So I did all right. I had a lot of gun issues. I had a shocker at the time, and the thing was just blowing up paint, and it was a mess. But I can't blame that. But I didn't make the cut, and soon
Just like marker failure.
No, I mean, I can't. Like I said, you can't just blame that. But I remember I was really pissed at the time because my gun just wasn't working the whole weekend. But
what guns was everyone else using at the time?
Everyone, shockers. Yeah. This is shockers and intimidators. This was 05, 06. This was you either had a shocker, intimidator, maybe like a DM4,
I know it's like funny to say now, but I mean, but did you have a backup at least at the time? Or?
Nope.
I mean, you dropped $100,000 for a shock or something like that.
Yeah, no.
Like no room for a backup.
No backups. You know, I hit up some friends.
They didn't have any like $200, $300 high-end stuff.
No, it was either a shocker or like, you know,
Spider BS.
Yeah, or Spider. there wasn't the Invert Mini or like the Ion yet. The Ion was
no one was out there with the Spider.
No, definitely not. But so I didn't make the team, which is cool. And
super cool.
Yeah, super cool. I was stoked. So I hear about this team called, you know, I'm looking for another team. I want to get into like the whole tournament. You know, I want to be more serious instead of just, you know, playing tournaments with friends here and there. And I heard about this team called Splat Kids and Distraction. Distraction actually had a tryout, which Knuckles was on.
Right.
And
Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd always call him Knuckles because that's what I called him then.
That's what's on his jersey, right?
Yeah. This is like his nickname at the time.
Yeah,
Paul. So he was on Distraction. I wanted to get on Distraction. They said that, you know, they weren't doing any tryouts. The team was full. Okay. And then I heard about this team called Splat Kids who had like a lot of sponsorships, but I knew nothing about it. I thought it may be affiliated with the magazine. I hit up a kid who was on the team, Spencer Nephew, and he's like, yeah, come out. So I came out with my friend Justin Saucerman, he still plays a bunch of tournaments. Yeah.
Plays with Washington Winstons.
Washington
now,
Winstons.
10-man life.
Yeah, 10-man life. They're doing good. So we came out and Glenn was there, and he's like, oh, you're trying out for this team? Like, I'm actually the coach. Like, you know, you did great with the Entourage tryouts.
It's funny that he didn't mention like, hey, I know you didn't get onto Entourage. Do you want to try out for this other team?
Yeah. But I was there, and he was like, hey, like, you know, like you'd make a great fit for this team. Like, you should definitely like join. And I was like, yeah, for sure. So started playing with them. I'll never forget the first time, like, you know, I always brought my own paint, but one day I like ran out and I was like, oh, you know, I'm out of paint. I don't have any money to go buy some. I think I'm done. And the owner, Mike Nephew, he was like, what are you talking about, man? Stop bringing paint. Start using our paint. So I was like, what?
Yeah,
like tournament, you know, like tournaments covered, practice paint covered, practice entry covered. All our gear, all this gear. I was like, oh my god.
What division was that?
This was rookie. This was Division 3. This is unheard of. I mean, there are always you know, teams that have a money guy, but we had legit sponsors because of Splat Magazine. We were gonna be in the magazine a lot, and the owner was literally trading ad space for practice paint. You know, we'd get Marbleizers as practice paint and Ultra Evil for tournament paint, and this was like a monthly allowance. And then Glenn sponsored us because he was coming out with the Infinity Legend. He wanted us shooting that, and he also manufactured Bonus Ball,
right,
which is still around, and so we had that as practice paint also. We actually sold the Marbleizers and just bought more Bonus Ball because the Bonus Ball was shot great. He actually made a tournament grade. I don't know if you guys remember Wildfire.
Grade, yep.
This stuff was like some batches would be good, and other batches would be like better than Ultra Evil.
Was that like a mid grade or is that a low grade?
No, it was a tournament grade.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And it was like a red bonus ball box.
Oh, okay.
There was the blue bonus ball and the red bonus ball, and that stuff was amazing.
So give us a time frame for kind of what you said, like the practice. Tell us again what year the practice was.
So that was like 05.
When you first got on to Splat Kids was like 05.
It had to been about 05.
Yeah.
We started playing the XPSLs. We played the first NPPL, which was obviously Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
And that had to have been, I think that was 05. And we didn't even make Sunday. We like missed Sunday by like 1 point. And oh man, Glenn was furious. Everyone was pretty furious, you know, because it was like all these sponsors and, you know,
it's like you're built for success.
Yeah, people are putting money in this team, and it's like, hey, you know, you guys got to perform.
So what was the owner's name again?
Mike Nephew.
And is that
and
the
he
guy
was the owner of
owned that
Splat
Angel that you have?
Magazine. Possibly.
Did you say the angel that you have was from the owner of Splat Magazine?
I have no idea.
Could have been an angel
what you're talking
from
about.
Spencer Nephew, which was one of the Mike's son who was on the team. He actually had a personal sponsorship with Angel.
Oh.
Because
Benji, the one that you have with the
So maybe that.
you said that you got that from or that it was owned by the owner of Splat Magazine.
It was
Chris
it was a while ago.
Chris IQ bought Splat Magazine at the
Right.
very end, so that made it come from him.
No, well, I got the angel from Edwin at Critical.
Okay.
So I don't remember ever saying that, but it's possible.
Huh.
Maybe it looked like
So send me some of those pictures, Benji, because I didn't see them.
it's on our chat. But yeah, you guys definitely were set up for success. Not a lot of, especially rookie teams at that time, had coaches and owners and sponsors and all
Let
that.
alone Glenn Forrester, who just retired from being the coach of Dynasty.
Right.
You know, like, and at that time, Dynasty was the best. You know, it was every single tournament. Who's gonna win?
So
No brainer.
So fast forward, your first event, you don't make Sunday.
Didn't make Sunday. Stepped on our
how
dicks.
long until your first place, your first podium at?
So we basically played a lot of Bears Cups. We won every single Bears Cup we played. We won.
Yeah,
we won.
bring out the medals.
These are all.
So many of them.
Yeah, these are all a lot of
Just wind chimes,
NPPL, XPSLs. This is the NPPL First Place Commanders Cup. You know, a lot of. And I also have a bunch of trophies, but those stay at parents.
And Glenn says he's got a new tournament bonus ball now.
It's true.
Oh, right on.
I was actually going to talk about that. We have you may have changed the industry, but because I know you've been griping about this for a while.
Pushing it.
But I played this Monday, and our paint is a 689.
Damn.
Yes.
It's a
Like a
689.
true
Yeah,
689?
it's a true 689.
Like
I tested it.
mostly
Everything.
ball to ball kind
There's
of thing.
every single
Well,
one.
the
was
PBDnA live stream
689.
is looking for a paint sponsor.
But you know, maybe what you guys were telling Mike Hinman, you know, maybe he stepped it up, and because I mean, if anyone's going to, Mike.
I mean, he said for a long time that he was trying to. I remember even a couple months after we spoke to him, he had a batch that was 8.7, and then there was an 8.4, and it stayed at least 8.4. So, you know, we weren't seeing the 6.7.7s and the.
Well,
I mean,
I think it's all coming out, and the stuff that we have at Ambush right now is a 689, and Glenn's working on a higher quality one that will also hopefully be a 689 and a better fill.
Sick.
But the stuff we have right now is phenomenal. I played with it Monday. I shot like case and a half of it, and not a single break. Everything was ball on ball, and shot straight.
So
All
throw
right.
away your
Yeah.
685 barrels.
Yeah, no
Barrels.
more need for.
No more
Bring
7.0
back the
freaking.
689s.
Toss out all those
690s.
inserts.
Bring
And
back
all those
the old
guys-
inserts.
Yeah.
Everyone with those 693 lucky Unitex, maybe you can use them soon
Yeah,
enough.
exactly. Any barrel from 2008 and below.
Yeah, you got Matt Estrada from the Wolverine Paintball Facility in Bakersfield. He wants you guys to send him a case. Try it out.
Well, come on out to Ambush and you can try out a case. How about that?
Cool. All right. So, what was your first place?
So our first place was at the very end of that season.
Your big
At
first place.
Our big first place. So we were mopping up teams in like the local series and whatnot. But, you know, it all comes down to Super 7. 7-man NPPL. Doesn't get bigger than that. So Orange County was the final tournament of the season. And we played against SCP Epic, which was from the field from San Jose.
Right.
And these guys were tough. They were XPSL novice players. We were XPSL rookies. We had not played them. We were going into, and they were winning all the XPSLs. And you know, we were making podiums at XPSLs.
And also, just to interject for a second, having played across all of these years, I am convinced that like 05 to 08 was some of the most competitive paintball
yeah.
I've ever played.
Yeah.
It was a
And
different level than the paintball now. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
At this point, what
a
division were you
D2
in?
team in NPPL or XPSL back then could do semi-pro in NXL
Because
easy,
of the high level
potentially
play at the
even
time.
higher.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Just ferocious teams.
Yeah, teams that only did 7-man, would switch over to play a PSP event and just smoke
Clean
all
up.
everyone because a lot of those X Ball players they all needed to be coached, and a lot of the 7-man players had more skill, more of a skill set. We
Yeah,
we
no sideline
communicated.
coaching.
We communicated even when we played the PSP. You got to communicate. That's always going to be better than someone on the sideline. Maybe not, but at least for communicating across the
Hated
field and
sideline
whatnot.
coaching.
I wasn't a big fan of that either. Sideline coaching.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that took all the
it's-
fun out of it. You couldn't sneak down the snake. You couldn't get in the fingers and get go underneath the X and
I
like
didn't
get all
understand
creative
why-
and sneaky.
Yeah, I didn't
It was like,
understand
hey,
why it was a
there's
thing.
a guy
Yeah,
crawling over
all of a
there, or
sudden,
you can see him, and then
Guns get thrown over.
Yeah, you're done.
However, the sidelines got a little more wild because you
Yeah.
had the guys trying to
The
fake
counter
you out, the
coaching.
counter coaching,
Like
the
weird
chants.
There were
yeah,
fist
weird
fights.
chants.
Yeah,
there were
you-
fist fights.
There
I
were
saw fist
countdowns
fights.
They would do, yeah.
You'd have like 50 dudes in
Oh, I remember the
unison
fist
making
fights. I remember
calls.
the
It
fights.
was
Yeah,
that was cool.
and you had teams that had signs. The teams that had like team dads who, made these big signs where it's they have, they shot out one player, G1, another one G2, and it's this big,
Sidelines.
that
So
was
maybe it
that
was
kinda
more
cool.
fun for the people watching, but less fun for the players.
It was more of a spectator sport.
Yeah.
It was better. It was better sport for the spectators, and it was more fun to watch. I'll give it that.
It was also not
Do you think that was the
10.5, so
intention,
there's
though?
more paint flying. It was.
Do you
Yeah.
think that was the intention though? Just like get the crowd live, get more of a
I don't
try to
know.
get viewers to actually watch paintball as opposed
Yeah.
to just
Because
participation kind of thing.
Dick Clark and some other production companies actually came in to the PSP in 04, 05, around then, and they were thinking about getting this stuff national
yeah.
television time.
Because I think what ESPN was still like broadcasting. I mean, a few of these events. At the
It was
time,
right after.
Oh, it was right after.
Yeah, so these guys came in, all these big wigs, and they went to the World Cup. I knew all this because a friend of mine, his dad was like some head exec at one of these production companies, and sure enough, they weren't interested, so they pulled back, and then ESPN picked up.
I think it was because like also like at around this time the year it was like they were a lot of these companies were looking for the new like X game kind of thing.
Exactly.
So when skateboarding was really really expanding.
Yeah. The next big
They
extreme
wanted the
sport.
next, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember there were
I'm
talks
gonna
about
do that.
paintball in Olympics prior to the one
Yeah.
not 2 years ago about those talks. Of course,
That would never happen.
Yeah, that was. I was gonna say ridiculous, but it was a nice way. But yeah, I remember that. I was just like, wow, paintball at that time was like.
It was big.
I would say at its peak.
Definitely at its peak.
Yeah.
Between 05 and I would say between 04 and like 07, it was
I
at
would
its.
see the
There was
decline
more.
at
There were
2008,
outside
yeah.
sponsorships. There were all these big companies outside of paintball
Yeah.
showing interest and coming in and dumping money into all these teams, and and more teams were able to make the tournaments.
Yeah.
The NPPL would Huntington Beach would sell out. There weren't any spots open.
I remember
You'd
those.
have to that night. You'd be registering, trying to pay, and you'd be most teams got a spot, but there were teams that you got capped
I
out.
remember driving down to like
Left
San
on-
Diego, checking it out. And all
Yeah.
On the sidelines to be yelling with everybody
Yeah.
else.
So going back to
exactly.
Splat Kids. So Orange County, we played against Epic, which we thought they were a division above us in a different tournament series, and they were
Right.
winning all of them. And so we were a little nervous, but we ended up beating them, and that was our first big national win. And so we were on cloud nine. It was I'll
So-
never forget that.
Did you get any? I guess was there an extra incentive to win events? Did you get extra hookups from sponsors?
Yeah, I was curious
Did you get?
what you-
Oh.
Did you
what
get
got
to
out
keep
of this.
winnings?
Yeah.
Did
Well-
the team owner get all the
There's a little
winnings?
money.
Yeah,
involved.
all the money and stuff just went right back into the team. We didn't see a
Yeah.
dollar, which the team operated at a loss. Like
Wow.
at the end of the
More
day,
passion,
Mike
so.
was Mike was front some serious cash.
Nice guy.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, forever grateful to him and Glenn. And so going into 06, first tournament of the season is always NPPL Huntington Beach.
Oh yeah.
The largest tournament.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
The most fun tournament.
you think World Cup is, you know, World Cup? No. Huntington Beach NPPL was World Cup. There were more spectators, and
Oh my God, we went to NXL World Cup. I went with the Sharks year before last, and there was like, I don't know, 30 spectators on each field.
It's not what it used to be.
I remember playing even Division II Huntington Beach MPPL, and I mean, there must have been 1,000 people. Like, on the side. You make a move, and just like, there's crowds cheering for you.
Yeah.
And
So-
that wasn't even for, you know, the finals. Like,
Yeah.
that was for prelims.
Yeah, definitely. So we actually made it to finals. This was 06 Huntington Beach. They had these grandstands, like you were saying, on one side. There were thousands of people, not just paintballers, but people who were just, you know, walking the boardwalk and being like, "Whoa, what is this?"
It was open. It
was open to any spectator.
Like,
They set up the
yeah.
turf right on the
The
sand.
turf was right on the sand. They always did a beautiful job. And so, you know, people just walking by were like, "Whoa, what is this? This is cool," because it is cool, you know, paintball. Sure. And so these stands were packed. My parents had to pay off some guy to get in the players area just to get to an area where they can watch.
That's low right
because
there.
because they knew we made it to the finals, and you know you can't miss that. And so there was a bleacher on one side, and then on both ends there were also bleachers for the players.
Right.
And these were like, these were basically all the guys who didn't make Sunday or who got knocked out. And so these are all guys who've been drinking all day, screaming and yelling.
Drinking,
So once it
smoking.
gets to the finals, it's like it's crazy. It's almost like a legit professional like sport. And so we actually played for first and second.
Who were you playing
We played
against?
gosh, how do I forget that?
What division was this?
This was Division II.
D2. Okay.
Yeah, D2. I forget the name of their team. They were an East Coast team. They were really good. We were worried about them because they were smoking all the competition, but we hadn't seen them. We hadn't played them yet. So we played them in the finals. We won I believe we won the first game convincingly. They won the second, and then the third game, it came down to a 3-on-2. I was on the Dorito side. Spencer Nephew was in the center, and Josh, one of our players, was on the in the snake. And so we're just trying to close this out. There are two back guys. You know, they have it crossed. I was able to shoot one of the corner guys, and then I got too aggressive. I should have taken it a lot slower, but I got aggressive and just started dumping paint. You know, just running and gunning to shoot out the last guy and get the best angle. Because I'm thinking, oh, you know, I still got two guys. I can play a little more aggressive. But Spencer's gun was down, and shout out Infinity Legend. And so his gun's down, and Josh is in the snake. Their corner player came to run down our snake guy, and our snake guy, Josh, came over the top at the last second and sees him, and he says he got him first. Everyone thinks they traded. Spencer didn't quite know if the guy was out yet, and so they're arguing about it, and Spencer just comes up, a handful of tournament grade, ultra evil, and just throws the paint all over this guy's face.
Tosses it.
And it all just breaks, and it's just and the crowd just went insane. These are thousands of people, and
the video is
plus
on
all
YouTube,
the drunk paintballers.
If you guys want to watch it.
The video's on YouTube. It's
I gotta check that out.
yeah, it's a good one. But
It's one of those highlight videos, like up there with the execution.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, for sure. Because you
Yeah, it
just
was a
see
good
them
one.
like the ref and the players, they're standing right there, and then he just runs in.
Out of
and
nowhere, just
he
boom.
throws in his face, and then he like,
yeah, and it's like yeah. and I think he went like, get the fuck out. And the guy's just like, if I was that guy, I would have just dropped my gun, taken my pack off, gone straight to my car, went straight to the airport, and I would pick up tennis. No more paintball. I'd pick up tennis.
and it's
Because that
funny.
was humiliating. I don't know.
And it's
feel sorry
funny
for that guy.
because Glenn Forster recounts it like, now he's like, yeah, the guy was out. It didn't matter. His throwing the paint didn't matter at all. But you watch the video and Glenn's like, I love this kid! He's freaking out.
So everybody was just, I mean, everyone was just going so crazy that, you know, even the pro games that went on right after were, you know, people weren't even like paying attention. As soon as we won, all our sponsors, they were all coming over trying to take pictures, and it's always fun when you win a tournament, especially national tournament, and like your heavily endorsed sponsors like Evil, they'd have their booth there, and they'd be like, guys, go grab whatever you want. Woo! And and JT was doing that, so we'd just be grabbing lenses and, you know, having a fresh lens for every tournament, having, you know, doesn't get better than that. Free lenses, it doesn't get better than that. And
not bad at all.
So,
and you guys had a lot of sponsors.
Yeah, we had a lot of sponsors.
Wait, I want to know what you were getting from Extreme Rage.
Well, Extreme Rage was with, it was all owned by.
It was the pack.
Yeah, it was a pack.
Got it.
Extreme Rage, Pure Energy, which is our tanks, View Loader, RPS for paint, so Ultra Evil, Marbs, Splat Magazine, Diablo, and Glenn's Infinity
What were you
Legend.
getting from Diablo?
There's also a paint thing.
You're using the Hellfire.
HK Army. This was before HK Army was, HK Army. This was like when it was Steve Kwan in his vitamin shop pumping out headbands and team jerseys with the vinyl press. I used to help them do that all of the time.
You didn't keep like a stash of them now that they're all expensive?
Yeah, right. I should have. I mean, I think I still have some stuff.
Cool.
Even this headband, he made me he told me he would never make another one like this if I promised I would never sell it. And I had a guy offer me $500 for it.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, but I tell someone I'm not gonna sell it. So I kept this headband for a long time.
Good man.
Yeah.
All right, and then you guys.
So then we moved up into Division 1. Made podium a couple times. Never got first place. HK Army beat us once in Jacksonville for first and second. Remember, I'll never forget that finals. I'm in back. I was a back player. I was in back center, and my buddy Pinky, who ended up playing for Aftermath Pro for the X Ball, he was in back center with me. Our corner guy gets shot out, and he's like, "Tom, you need to fill. You need to fill." I'm like, you're behind me. You're shooting over. Like, you fill. He's, why aren't you? Why don't you go? What's the matter? And he's like, I don't have any air. I was like, what do you mean you don't have any air? He's like, I forgot to fill my air tank. This is, Division 1 finals. I mean, come on.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
I did that at World Cup, but it was not finals, and it was pump, and we still won.
Well, of course.
That's good. But yeah.
Wait, you ran out of air with a pump?
Yeah. And it was right after talking a whole lot of shit.
Were you like a back player, just like Wayne?
Well, I was supposed to be a back player. No. So I was using that Bell Sales Evolution pump, and all the guys on the team had the MVPs or something similar, and they're like, why are you using that heavy piece of shit gun? You need to get something light for tournaments. And I'm like, this gun is the best gun I've ever used. I shoot more people than all you guys freaking shoot. Like, they're just sassing me. We're going back and forth, and I'm talking a whole lot of crap. And then we go on the field, and like, I don't know, 50 shots, and I'm completely out of air. I forgot to fill up.
Okay.
But my gauge was also broken because it said 1500. It said 1500. I was like, that's enough. That's enough. But yeah, I definitely felt. I did not admit it at that point. Like, we won. No one knew anything.
Malfunction, man. Just
but I was like, I gotta stop talking shit and just get my head in the game.
Exactly. So after that,
just fill your air.
Yeah, or remember to fill your tank.
Yeah. Plus, they have a fill station right next to every field, so it was pretty bad.
You were too focused on the game.
So I want to say in maybe like 07, the team kind of dissolved. We weren't getting the same. We weren't getting money from a lot of these teams, and it was becoming to be like too much for you know, for Mike and Spencer was kind of over paintball at this point.
Moving on,
you know,
different
we
things.
were practicing, you know, twice a week. We were driving down to San Diego every weekend, you know, just to play the good teams. And it definitely burnt us all out. And then, so after that team, I formed a team called Surge, and we played all
Surge was
the
legit too.
yeah, we played all the WC PPLs, and we actually won every single one. Yeah, and then
Who was playing with you on Surge?
it was some of the guys from what was their team name?
You didn't have
It was like
Bijan on
Ben,
that
yeah,
team, did you?
Bijan was a killer snake player. So he
Probably one of the
dude,
best
probably
snake players I've ever seen.
definitely the best player on the team. Cody was amazing.
And they I don't know if they still both work, but they're part of the ASG crew now.
Yeah.
Right.
I think their dad owns.
Does he own ASG?
I think he owns ASG.
Okay.
He did
cool.
then, but that's where we practiced there a lot. And yeah, we were a great team. I was kind of like burnt out from paintball. It really like took over my life
How many
for
years at this point you're playing
like
actively?
probably like 4 years of playing like
Straight up.
3 times a week,
Oh, wow.
4 times a week. Driving down to Anaheim for OC, play
Where were you living?
street ball in Newbury Park.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
So,
Like 2 hours from Anaheim. So I was
Yeah,
So I was driving all over the world. I actually did a tryout with Excessive. They wanted me, but this was when I was still D1 with Splat Kids, and it would have ruined things with Splat Kids because of my rank.
Right.
And then I also tried out for Aftermath, and during that around the same time, and Mike asked me to come out and start practicing with the team, but I thought about it, and I wasn't ready to commit to something like that. Mike really demands everything out of his players, and he gets everything out of his players because the amount of respect people have for Mike is
So you
he
had
makes
to
pros.
explain to them that you had heard that there was a field opening called Ambush and they needed you there.
So, yeah, exactly. So my getting to that, I got that job because I was working for Infinity Legend at the time. During one of the XPSLs,
We all remember the Legend, right?
the Legend. During one of the XPSLs, our sponsor, Infinity Legend, which is owned by Glenn Forrester, who was our coach, my gun went down. Glenn was nowhere to be found. We had a game coming up. I always worked on my own guns. It was similar to Intimidator. It was one moving O-ring in the gun. It was no LPR, and it was a spring-assisted ram.
So like a phaser, as they call it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it was a great gun. And so I was able to fix it. And Glenn comes back. He's like, "Oh, I heard your gun's down." Like I was like, "Oh no, I took it apart." And he's like, "You did what?" He was like already pissed that I took it apart. He's like, "You did what? What'd you do to it?" I was like, "What did I do to it? I fixed it." He's like, "Seriously?" I was like, "Yeah, man. This gun's pretty simple. Like, this is the problem. I figured out, this was the issue." And he's like, "How would you like to work for me? How would you like to, I don't have anyone, I'm just starting this out. It's just me. I need someone to be like my master tech. I need someone to be building these guns all day, every day." And so I was managing a movie theater at the time, and I was like, work at a movie theater
Full-time paintball.
and going to school full time, or paintball. Work at a paintball store, which was Warped LA, which is on Pico. It used to be on Pico, and
What was the cross street?
Pico and Bundy, 1 block east of Bundy. It's now a massage
Right
parlor.
off the freeway.
Benji frequents it.
Well, I have to go back there just to, remember.
He brought his Legend there and
Remember Warped.
ended up getting a rub and tug.
Yeah. Well, they serviced the Legend.
No, there we go. So I was working for Glenn, building Legends, and then on weekends practicing with Splat Kids, and occasionally he'd be like, "Hey, I really need a ref at Warped." So I started working at Warped.
What year?
This was probably 07, 08, around then. Probably 07, yeah, 07, end of 07. And so I was the master tech for Infinity. I built all those guns. It was an amazing gun. We could never figure out why some of them were like amazing and some of them were harder on paint, weren't as wasn't as efficient on air.
Wait, so when we called Infinity Legend for about issues with the paintball marker, were you the one picking up the phone? And
Usually, yeah, it was usually either me or Glenn.
So this is the guy.
Yeah, sorry about that.
How many Infinity Legends were made, and did Sergey machine all of them?
Sergey machined all of them. Our anodizer was also local. Everything was manufactured in the U.S.
Who was the anodizer? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was I want to say it was in the L.A. area.
And
I think it was closer to like downtown.
Who approached who for the HK Legend?
I'm not sure how that started. Either HK approached Glenn or Glenn approached them, and
for people who haven't seen it, you can jump on Google, look up HK Legend paintball gun. It was
basically a legend.
Yeah, milled down legend.
Milled
like
down. It was very light. Yeah,
it.
there was a skull on the side.
It was gorgeous.
It was a sweet gun.
Hell yeah.
It was very light.
I like the legend. It was fine for what it was.
Well, the stock legend to me, it was kind of plain. You know, I was going from these highly milled Intimidators and the glossy swooshy DMs, and it was kind of
a little high.
It was plain Jane, and then I saw the HK legend, and I was like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, the legend I had was by far the best gun I've ever owned. I would literally put my tank on it, leave my tank on it forever.
And you were telling
us, it was like
us,
constantly pressurized.
And that's a
in the
prototype
trunk of my
you
car.
had?
Yeah, it was number, I want to say 4.
So you told us, but tell the people what the difference between the prototype and the finished product was.
So the prototype had a wasp board and Intimidator eyes, and these like weird Intimidator kind of eye covers. And then shortly after, Wasp produced an eye for us, and it was more flush, more like a Ego style. Remember those flat eyes, the thinner ones.
So the finished Legend still had Wasp boards, though, right?
The finished board, Legend had a Wasp. Oh, thanks, man.
You want some protein milk?
Oh, I'm good. Trying to lean out.
Give him 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's cutting, Dan.
I'm cutting, man. So
what's up? Cut it.
the Legend also had the Wasp board, and then we Tadao made a board for us, and then we switched over to Tadao shortly after, and that board was awesome. They're both good, but the Tadao board was really good. And I actually I had the very first Tadao board, and so I was the only person with a Legend that had ramping capabilities, and I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that and an Empire Halo. I would fan the trigger with 3 fingers, like some of the exactly, just I learned from Stinky, and man, I was
I had to do that.
I was shooting 30 to 35 balls per second. It was insane.
And
the gun kept up. Every single game, they would try to shoot it and try to get it to ram. I was like, yeah, go for it. But I had it set so it would start ramping at like 18 balls per second, and then just go to like basically unlimited.
And they couldn't get it to 18.
And they couldn't get it to 18. And the only thing that could really catch it was the robot, which
we have.
You guys have the robot?
We got the robot.
Okay, thank God I never saw the robot.
You still have some of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
we gotta put that together at some point.
Yeah. Robots though.
There's
has one too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of too many.
Dave was the original creator of the robot. He was
that was Zinkum.
Yeah, Dave Zinkum. And he was actually partners with Glenn with the Infinity Legend, and he came up with the solenoid.
And the Z-Force, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was associated with the Z-Force.
I don't think so.
He made those ProTech. ProTech was his company, and he made the ProTech frames, and he also made those Flame LPRs.
So did he did most of the designing and Glenn did most of the business, or?
Well, as far as I can't speak for the Z-Force, that was already
for the Legend.
For the Legend, Dave was a silent partner. He was basically he did the solenoid, and he just kind of sat back and collected a paycheck, I guess. I don't know the numbers, but I don't think Infinity Legend did very well.
Did he do the CAD for it?
Say that again?
Did he do the designs for it?
No.
Oh, because Sergey.
Yeah, it was Sergey and Glenn.
Gotcha.
Got
and
it.
then yeah, So that was a great gun. My gun shot like, it shot the most brittle paint.
And that's the one you had stolen?
No, I still have that one.
Oh, okay.
But
You got to bring
yeah,
that
I
out to
had
the
two
field.
other legends that got jacked. But
You should bring the prototype to the field so we can
definitely, yeah.
try that out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll shoot that thing.
Cool. And I wanted you to show off some of your pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Actual photo album.
So Dan, do you want
See if
to?
the GoPro's working.
Yeah, put on the GoPro. If not, we can just kind of show it from afar.
Is this caveman coffee, or you guys like Joe Rogan?
Well, I mean, you're the one that didn't want protein milk. I mean, it's like almond milk. I can grab it if you want.
No, I'm joking.
So yeah, basically it is.
Oh my lord.
I'll listen to it. Oh no.
I'm like,
this is my mom's photo album of me. So this is me when I'm at the zoo when I'm 3, and this is me at the pump. See, that's me at the pumpkin patch.
It's a lot less exciting now that we know it's not.
hold on, that was
This is me in karate. This is it.
great
Boy
job.
Scouts. Eagle Scout.
Woo!
Yeah, Glenn used to actually. That was my nickname, Eagle Scout.
I was a pterodactyl scout. All right, so here's the start of paintball.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Here's the start.
I actually started playing airsoft,
Go under the.
and then I got into paintball.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah. This was when
See if
airsoft
it's
was
working.
like.
We started earlier in
You
Costa
couldn't buy it at any stores.
Yeah.
You had to order it from Japan.
Tokyo
And you-
Marui?
Yep,
Eat
Tokyo
some.
Marui,
It is
and
working.
you'd
Wipe
order
the
it through
screen
Red Wolf.
off, though,
Yeah.
with
Get
your
a Tokyo
shirt.
Marui, and you'd cross your fingers, hope and pray that customs didn't open it.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
right.
it was like
Yeah.
one in
Was it
So-
like
5
an
would get
AR-15
seized.
kind of
Yeah,
thing?
they're like, whoa, what is this?
We need to.
Should we have?
They didn't
Oh,
have
your
orange
photo
tips.
album.
It was
I was
like,
gonna say,
these
that's
things
why,
looked
yeah.
real.
As such, so
Yeah, you're good.
Tom, do you want to actually go through here and give people
Yeah, I
a
actually
show
have
and tell?
most of the good ones I pulled out were actually
I'm gonna-
here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna rotate this. See if I can rotate it down. Actually.
I can't be the only person who like wishes their parents kept a photo album like this for paintball at least.
I don't know. I guess when you're a kid,
Grab the
you
adjuster
kind
on
of
the side
like
of the
stop
GoPro
taking
and
pictures of
lower
me,
it out.
stop embarrassing me, kind of thing.
Right here. See.
But looking back
I don't
now,
know.
when you're older,
My
it's
parents-
like-
Level it out so it's
My
like,
parents
you
did not take all that many photos, at least when I was starting to be a teenager.
Yeah.
Maybe because I didn't look
Alright,
all that
now,
good as a teen.
Yeah. That's how I feel about myself now, so I don't take pictures of myself.
But maybe they figured, oh, you got MySpace in your Facebook, you take your own photos.
Yeah.
It'll take a minute to adjust.
Yeah.
But yeah, sick.
Is that I think that's
Let's wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it to move. If it does. If not, then we're good.
Well, there's
But
your finger still there, so. If you scooted up a little bit. There it goes. Give it a second, guys.
oh,
alright.
I'm looking at the OBS, so I don't.
Okay, yeah.
Is that
I mean,
so we're good?
Yeah, we're
it
good.
looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. You should have Benji hold those there, and you should be on the camera talking about because we want to see.
Okay,
I wanna see
I
what you're
can
talking about.
I can flip through it.
Yeah.
You can keep this in front of you so you can see what it's on. Start with those. Yeah.
Watch record.
All right.
And also, we should look at comments real quick because we haven't been paying any attention to them. I don't think.
Yeah, I can't really see it.
And Glenn, I think Glenn's been like posting nonstop.
I've been responding to.
Don't talk shit about the legend.
It was a design choice.
Okay. So
If they were still for sale, I'd hype them up.
It was, I will hype that.
But no,
one.
that
I
gun
liked
was
it when it
great.
Came out.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Best gun I ever
We were
best
talking
gun I
about-
ever owned. Most reliable
It
for me.
was around when it first came out. It was like $900 or something like that.
I want to say
remember.
$750.
Yeah, it was around that.
Yeah, so it was cheaper than like the Ego
Then they
and
dropped the price down to like $350.
yeah, when
at that
when Glenn
point-
was like blowing them out.
Yeah, and then but by then 350.
350.
Yeah, there was like your only option was like an Ion,
Invert
Mini
Mini.
when it first came out, and to be honest with you, that was more of a prime choice when it
Yeah.
comes to the Legends. It was like it's a fantastic marker. I picked one up and I thought it was great. I wish it was a little smoother like yours, like you mentioned, but again, I guess that was a design choice without having an LPR on it. So
Yeah, you really had to fiddle with
But-
the pressure,
yeah, but
the dwell, and kind of fine tune it.
but overall, it was just literally like a plug and play marker. Like you just
Definitely.
it was fantastic.
It
I mean, for a
definitely-
good beginner to transition to to a electronic semi-auto.
Yeah, like Tom said, there were the good ones and the bad ones.
Yeah.
I had a lot of good ones, but we, as LA Asylum, we got sponsored by Legend. And I don't know if we were sponsored or we just bought a lot of them. And
It was basically a team
it was
package.
discount,
Probably, yeah.
Because it's not.
But
like
I do
not like-
remember you guys. I do remember building them. I remember, so I remember that.
And we were all stoked. The first game, we're like everyone with their brand new Legends, and I'm not even sure if it was the Legends' fault or the fact that the team owner Leo had us shooting. It was like Ultra Evil seconds. It came in a brown box. Like it wasn't legit
Probably
Ultra Evil.
brittle stuff.
Super brittle. And in the first game, we had 4 or 5 guns down. Like we were chopping so much that paint was dripping out of the eyes, coming out of every place on the gun, and we got just torn up. We got annihilated, and like he was yelling at us because we lost the game, and we're like, everyone's gun is breaking, and like 3 people quit the team after the first game.
Oh wow!
Like they moved over to NXN. It was XPSL Victorville, I think.
Victorville.
06 Victorville, I want to say. Because in 07 we got first place D2, but 06 didn't make... we barely made it into the 4th game of prelims because just people were leaving.
I'm surprised it was paintball tournament in Victorville.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
It was a fun tournament.
It was good, yeah. Honestly, back then, XPSL was how the national tournaments are now, if not possibly a little better.
For sure.
Just because
we had 60-something teams for a local regional event.
Yeah.
Is that the same
in each division?
we were talking about the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the year after. So, moving on from that, we got Tom had a couple of his favorite magazine pulls here. You want to tell us about those? I see a lot of famous faces next to you.
Yeah, so this, what was that? We got
Rusty Glaze.
We
got Todd Martinez.
Go left to right.
Yeah, we are.
We're doing.
Okay.
Max Lundquist.
Joy Division.
Yeah, Joy Division. We got Mark Cresson at the very bottom there.
Holy shit!
This is like before the mustache.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, that's Marky.
Who are you?
Yeah, we should zoom in on that one.
Before the party.
But this was before Mr. H.
Yeah,
This
Mr. H
was
wasn't alive.
Yeah, Mr. H was being bred.
Dormant.
And yeah, it was dormant. And,
he was a totally reserved guy back then. In between games, he'd be reading books and just really relax. No. All right, so who's above him?
Then we had, who was that? Is that
I don't really recognize those.
I can't. It's hard to see the face. I know who it is. Skimp.
There you go.
Skimp. And then this was Bad Company, who was sponsored by Spider. They all shot Spimmies.
Right.
They were Spider's factory team, and they had a full ride, but they had to shoot spiders.
And who are the girls?
Couldn't tell you.
Probably
I had no
higher
game.
quality ones.
I had no game, so I didn't even get a name.
Probably higher quality ones than the ones Glenn had for his calendar.
For his calendar, probably. Probably.
So what was this shoot for?
This shoot was just for product. If you want to just put the other one.
Yeah.
This is just product. We did a lot of those.
You got 2 photos.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was basically just showing off all our sponsors. Stiffy was one of our sponsors, which was the first carbon fiber barrel, and those barrels were awesome. I actually bought one before we were sponsored by them.
And you're rocking the Legend, and I'm guessing you weren't old enough to drink back then. So what were you holding?
I think it was just a bottle of water or something. But Mike Nevue was very creative and wanted me to be a pirate. It was a pirate theme. Everyone had a different theme. That's when paintball magazines were around. You could go to there was Faceful,
Faceful.
Splat magazine,
APG.
Yeah, APG, which was more Woods Ball and stuff. And
I remember back then.
Just ads.
Yeah, it was a lot of ads.
But even so, I remember back then, even as a divisional team, like you wanted to podium because you'd get that tiny little column in the magazine where you could go to the store, buy the paintball magazine, and there's your team.
Yep.
First place, second place, third place with maybe a little write-up, and that was enough. That kept us just like motivated.
Yeah, if you were walking past Barnes & Nobles with a friend, I could be like, hey, want to see something cool? Go in there, grab a magazine right off, and be like, hey, look, do you recognize that guy? Like, whoa!
In all the Barnes & Nobles.
Yep, all the Barnes & Nobles.
I remember doing the exact same thing, going to the
Nintendo
Grove.
Power.
Yeah, right. Right next to all the video game.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This is before like the internet really kind of like took off and changed. I mean, there were forums, but there weren't like.
PB Nation had a lot of people on it, but there was no Facebook, no.
PB Nation, I think was. I want to say there's definitely more traffic then.
Oh, absolutely.
So much more traffic.
Yeah, I'll even look at like the West Coast forums now, and it'll be like the same thread from at the very top with one comment on it, from like weeks ago.
Dude, I remember
It used to be like every minute they'd be refreshing, and it was
I remember we had what was it? It was like a West Coast chat thread, like where the games are going on, and I think we were blowing through the 2,000 post limit like weekly, where they would have to start the new thread automatically.
Like a SoCal specific for forum chat.
Yeah. And everyone would like want to be that 2,000th post.
Oh, first.
First likes.
First post.
Yeah, first post.
Cool. All right.
Before lock.
So I'm gonna like zoom us through your pictures.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know if you can see.
I can see.
So we'll go because it's gonna delay a little bit.
Yeah,
So give us like the.
Yeah.
quick
Well,
rundown.
Actually, let me make it a little bit bigger.
Well, I'll be able to see it. So,
Okay. Cool.
so it'll be current.
Start us.
All right. So the picture on the left is from an XPSL. I remember I sprained my ankle. That was a bad one. And then the picture on the right was just like a photo shoot for the team. I think that was when we did a training DVD. We made a training DVD with Max Lundquist on how to snap shoot, running and gunning, like little techniques that that really upped your game. It's all about those little things, just like any sport. Perfecting.
Didn't magazine also have those video magazines, like it was like a.
Later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, later on, and then they actually turned into an online magazine.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
that was
a
XPSL.
We got Oceanside first place.
Oceanside, yeah, we got first place in that one.
Series championship, second place.
Showing off all that free paint. That's what I'm talking about.
That shout out Sean Takeda for that one. It was either the finals or the game or semifinals. We played against Sean Takeda's team, and
what was this team? Do you remember?
It could have been Recluse. But we actually stalemated. Like we won the first, they won the second, and then ran out of time on the third. And so back then on that 7-man format, came down to one-on-ones. So you put it. I was always our first guy to do one-on-ones. I was decent at one-on-ones, and so I played against Sean Takeda, and Sean Takeda is a great player. He's a very, very smart guy, and I got lucky and I clipped him, and we moved on and ended up winning that tournament.
Come on, Sean. We thought more of you. All right, so here we got another first place. Did you guys win Legends?
So we actually had a deal with Glenn, or Mike had a deal with Glenn, that we were supposed to get a new legend every single tournament, and I never abused that because that one prototype legend that I had shot amazing. I didn't want to. Morally, I wouldn't feel right, like taking it and then selling it, just because I know Glenn's trying to doing his business. I don't want to take from that, and so I was just like, you know what, I'm good. Don't need that. Some of the other guys did, but that's on them. But yeah, we were supposed to get a legend for every tournament, every national tournament or something like that. Yeah.
Pretty sweet deal.
Yeah. What do you remember? What the most that some of your teammates got in 1 year was?
Like selling stuff.
No,
well,
like how many legends?
Free product. Oh man. I mean, it was
mostly like legends though. Like how many did some players actually get?
Maybe
like
like
1 year?
maybe like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about like other?
No,
like,
everyone was a good guy on that team, and no one really took advantage of. Yeah, I think the rest is in it. But yeah,
Cool.
yeah, good times.
Down here.
Definitely,
Excellent.
I definitely
history on that stuff.
yeah, paintball for me during those times, it really I was able to afford to play paintball because of that sponsorship, and at a level where on weekends all my other friends were going to the house parties, drinking, doing drugs, and I'm like, I got practice in the morning, I don't need that, and then so paintball for me, it was during that time of life, it was a great outlet for me.
Kept you straight.
Kept me doing good things, and I definitely have Glenn to thank for that, and I have Mike Nebby to thank for that, and all of our sponsors.
Awesome.
What year did Ambush open?
Ambush opened.
I mean, that was fairly recent.
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, wasn't that like 2011? I think.
Maybe 12.
12. I think.
But he's had Warped.
But he's had Warped.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
Since
God.
2000.
2004.
Oh, yeah, 2004. Yeah.
2004, maybe 2000. Yeah.
For
I would say
anyone who's gone
2004.
through SoCal, Warped is the one you can see off the 5 freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be- between the 5. Because when the 5 splits, yeah, you can see it.
Is it Caustic or Castaic?
Castaic.
Yeah.
Also where combat's in the same off the same exit.
Same. I always thought that was kind of funny. Like, you take the same exit and there's two paintball
There's two
fields,
paintball
and, like,
fields, yeah.
where's your
Wasn't,
allegiance?
was Fields of
Fields of
Fury over there too? Where was Fields
of
Fury?
Fire or Fields
Well,
of
Fields of
There's a
Fire
Fields of
is,
Fury.
yeah, but I mean Fields of Fire was,
I never did
Fields of
Fields of
Fury
Fury.
was it was
Further
off
out.
the 14
Yeah.
up in
Oh, I did play it.
was it
because it was more
Acton?
north. It was more north than Fields of Fire.
Wasn't like Ogwood Place or something like that. I think
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it was like 30 minutes 40 minutes
minutes.
past,
Gotcha.
and that's where
forgot
Critical
the
practiced a lot, Vatos Locos, Stoned Assassins. There was this one movie that oh god, who made the movie? It wasn't Dave Quitman, it was someone else, but they made it, and it was Excessive versus Iron Man, and it was like snowing. I know it's
Wow,
still
I don't
it's
think
still
I've even seen that
it's still on YouTube, guarantee you that.
Oh,
But it was a really good video.
Sweet.
Yeah,
What
so
else
that's
did you
the
bring to
thing.
show us?
I brought this
Does it ring a bell?
I brought this little Revy, which I thought was really cool. I've had this thing forever. It actually has a wasp board.
So when you started talking about it, I thought, oh, it just has one of those Empire boards. But you're pretty convinced that it has a WAS board.
Yeah.
And the way to tell would be the light, right? Because on the WAS board, isn't it like purple, or it changes colors? Isn't it like 2 different colors?
Well, Dan, you got a couple 9 volts.
Yeah. Let's find out.
See if I
Let's
have
try
some.
it
Let's find
out.
out if the thing even works.
Yeah.
Haven't used it in like probably 5 years, 6 years.
Still got a good shell.
Yeah, just missing a lid. But yeah, so it's actually a sound activated WAS board, and I was playing a tournament with it, and
It wouldn't have worked with the nice little DM.
yeah, yeah. And so I'm playing a tournament with it. I go diving the snake. The other snake guy didn't know I was there. I go crawling down the snake, come around, my gun's tilted like this, Shoot, nothing's coming out. Oh my god. The guy turns and just lights me up.
All right,
And
these are mostly
Glenn-
all bullshit.
Glenn just reamed me for that.
What are these
I
two?
feel like-
I think they're all
So
bad
Kevin
now.
says it's called the Turbo Revy and it was made by WAS. I did not know WAS made their own Revy.
Yeah, I think there's an article on Warpig about it.
Kevin knows all, so
Yeah.
He does.
I'm going with Kevin.
Every push button
Let's
Revy I
see.
get, I check to see if it's one of those, but it's
Yep,
always
green light.
Works.
Oh yeah, it does change
Green and
color.
orange.
No, should stop.
So it did stop.
No,
So sound activated. Now you gotta do the old.
Knock on it.
Well, your
Not good.
battery's flashing, right? So are you,
Yeah.
are you
Probably
dead?
low
That could be.
batteries.
There could be low batteries. Yeah.
I want to see the purple light though. Let me see if I have another battery. 'Cause I think
That's cool.
it'll be purple.
I haven't seen one of those ever, but now I want one. I gotta find
This
one.
makes for good live capture. Just yelling at it.
Yeah.
Is it gonna work? Just yell at it.
The old lick test.
If your loader's not working, just yell at it.
Yeah, good.
Those aren't bad.
I do that at work too.
Yeah, it's not very good for
I
you.
know. You want to wake up really quick
Yeah.
though? Like, wow, I gotta fix the gun at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I definitely licked way too many of these when I was
No, that's why
gun
I don't
test.
use Rays anymore.
I've
'cause
been
I don't
licking
have
them
any,
this week.
I think
I bought like 109 volts on eBay,
I just
and like half of them
Mhm.
came
One
DOA,
working.
and I was just like,
good, just sorting them out.
That one might be.
By the end of it, you're brain dead.
Yeah.
As well as it should.
All right, well, thank you, Tom, for the great history.
Yeah,
For
those
sure.
are great.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Learned some good stuff. I was definitely really envious of the Splat Kids and Distraction back in the day. We were, at least the teams that I was on, were always like, you know, we were committed ballers, but we didn't have the team owner, the team coach. We didn't have that, and it wasn't about, you know, having it all paid for, but we didn't have that guy with the bigger picture in mind. We were just
organizing all the
kids
guys,
trying to
Tom.
go play and
Yeah.
didn't really know what we were doing. When we would play, it was just like scrimming against ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
not real drills and stuff. So we were envious of how put together you guys had it.
Yeah. We were definitely blessed.
Blessed. More
Blessed.
like possessed.
Possessed.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah, we
got.
got a lot more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, what
which is
else are we
cool.
talking about, Benji? What's next?
Let's real quickly talk about the EMAC. You want to pull up the picture of it?
Yeah, sure. I'll put it in the background.
So, have you guys heard anything from Planet Eclipse about the EMAC? Because you're a field.
No.
They haven't reached out to you,
No,
nothing
we
like that.
haven't.
Yeah.
Have you had any ANI?
No. Right now it's just selected fields that are right now are just
Testing
trying it out. You know what I mean? But from out of here, nothing but positives. I mean, you guys gonna give
Yeah.
input on it. So
Dan and I, check it out. Dan and I went and played at HSP,
Mhm.
and I was ready to go play with. What is
hybrid goods.
I had my ego or something, and Frankie, who works over there at HSP.
Not so much.
No, because I gave Paul. Yeah, I don't really know, but I got to try out the
Just 'cause I don't
EMAC
have
thanks to
one.
Frankie,
I would love to.
and he's like, I haven't
If I
rebuilt
played
this
it-
since they
if I played
gave
it,
it to
I'd
me.
be one.
You said specifically not to take the
Yeah.
valve
That's
out,
nice.
right?
You did
So
a good job with
basically,
it.
Eclipse
Yeah,
was
it's
like,
quite
we want to
good.
see how durable this thing is, so don't take the valve out, don't break it down and clean it. You know, you can clean the barrel, but that's about it.
Beat it up.
And let us know how it goes. So he said he put about 15,000 shots through it over 2 months and never had an issue. And I used it that day, and I was like, this is the best mechanical gun I've ever shot.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
loved it.
It was, I mean, it was amazing. It had a extremely nice trajectory. Like, I remember when we shot Tim Montressor's mech shocker
Yeah.
at the 10-man UWL at SC. It had like one of those ego
The
hooks,
drops.
the drop.
Yeah.
This thing, it was almost like a cocker. It was just like, it just
Like a
Really?
flew.
trajectory.
Yeah, but
I shot Rodney Squires was at ambush this last weekend, and I shot his
enemy.
his mech shocker.
shocker. Okay.
And that
Oh,
thing,
he has a mech shocker.
yeah, and it
Oh,
shot amazing.
Yeah, his when I shot his,
I couldn't
enemy,
believe it.
shot really great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
when
Just
we
even the pull, it was like
Yeah.
nothing.
Chris,
when we
Yeah.
tried Tim's, it was, you know, before they actually released it. So potentially they've made some advancements
I
or
did like
tweaked it.
Tim's a lot more than the enemies. Because
Yeah,
you
I
didn't
don't
have
like the
that
enemies
shock
like
at the beginning. Yeah,
it's like that pneumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
hang
shocker,
up.
Shocker didn't have that.
You feel like you could almost like short stroke it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it
I
does
don't
that
like
like
that
weird
feeling
kind of.
at all.
You gotta.
Yeah.
I do remember Tim's shocker. You could shoot extremely fast.
Yeah.
And I liked the balance of the gun, but the EMAC is just a whole nother beast. And
Yeah.
especially,
It looks durable as hell.
yeah, I mean it doesn't look like anything special. It's not flashy. It doesn't have milling,
I
but
mean, it doesn't have any aluminum.
Yeah.
yeah, I
So-
mean
so how's
it's
the weight
on it?
it's
How's
that
the weight?
composite plastic.
Yeah, it's probably weighs nothing.
It's super light. It maybe 2.5
I thought it was maybe
pounds,
like
a little
helps
bit
with the
less.
shot to having a slightly, maybe balanced.
No, it wasn't heavy, and it was, really low profile.
Mhm.
The length of it was awesome. I mean, I was using it with one of the non-super light 6845s, and it felt really good. But
It's an ETHA 2, essentially.
yeah,
correct?
the trigger
Yeah.
pull was so much better than the enemy. It was just
Yeah.
Super snappy, much more like the Shocker.
And you don't expect it to be as fast as it is either.
Yeah.
That was, I think, the first thing I noticed.
Extremely fast.
Yeah.
But I was really surprised on how soft it was on paint. Like, I mean, we were not using good paint, and I was shooting.
Were you using a force-fed loader or a gravity?
I was
fed?
using a Spire on it.
Okay.
This is like the core system, right? That like the
Yeah. Well, so I'm looking at John's article on PBDnA. He says it has.
It's a refined gamma
Let's
core
see. It
system.
operates with a hinge trigger with rotating safety switch. The gun is powered by a gamma core drive train of the ETHA.
Yeah.
Same valve
Also
design
found on
as
the
the
Enterprise.
What'd you say? Say it again.
That also found on the
The
Enterprise.
gamma core drive train found on the. Yeah, there you go.
Is that a Star Trek joke?
Yeah.
We need,
You're not getting any of my jokes today.
Come on, Dan. Dan only gets down on paintball nerd dumb.
Yeah.
That's so much pop culture, right?
But yeah, I posted a couple clips of myself using it when it comes out, because right now they're only going to be offered to fields.
Yeah.
The testing is only to fields, and then the first sales I've heard are only going to be to fields as rental fleets.
Awesome.
So maybe if you know a field owner, maybe you can get yourself one. But I also heard they're going to be in the 200 range, maybe 250. I think it's a kind of stupid idea by Planet Eclipse. If you're trying to sell the GMAC, don't release the EMAC. Because it's a GMAC killer.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal gun for $500 less.
Yeah.
And frankly, I will probably... I will keep a lot of my significant guns to me, my mags and a couple cockers, but any leftovers that I would be keeping as backups, I'm going to sell and just pick up a couple EMACs.
What do you think about having them as field rentals, though? I mean, they're so fast.
I think
it's amazing.
Yeah.
You actually have a gun that'll shoot straight instead of... You see the kids with the Titmans, and there's just paint exploded in every single barrel.
The Titman is that any Titman really is that you can't shoot fast with it. So if you're a group of, players that have never played before, you're not getting super lit up.
I feel like those kids
as long as you're playing against other people who also have
if you're
same caliber
running
gun.
and you're playing with a walk-on group.
Well, I feel like those kids,
good, I guess. For
a
sure.
brand new player still isn't going to be ripping on that. He's still going to be like, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
They just don't think about it.
You want to shoot as fast as you can.
Yeah, you're gonna push it to the limit.
Switch over to the middle finger and start just tapping as much as possible.
And then you start doing that.
Good for fields because they're going to shoot more paint versus what
they're going to shoot more paint.
Yeah.
But also, I think one kind of unintended side effect is that they're not going to be just completely obliterated by the normal walk-ons that they're playing with.
Yeah.
Because, everyone knows if you're playing against a rental, even if he's like shooting at you, he's swerving all over the place and he's got paint all in his barrel. And this thing, he might shoot you.
Well, how many balls essentially does that really shoot? Like,
what do you mean?
Like how many balls per second are we talking about here?
As fast
probably
as
as fast as you can pull the trigger and as fast as the loader
it's
feeds.
super light. It's lighter than you would expect.
Yeah, it's not as stiff a trigger pull. It's a nice light trigger pull. They could get out. They're still going to be using shake and bake loaders, so maybe they'll still be chopping unless, the fields put revies on them or put some kind of electro loader. But I don't think that this is going to be the replacement for the Titman. I think it'll be an upgrade.
Yeah.
If you're a smart field owner, you're going to offer the high-end upgrade for $5-10 more. Yeah. And it's a significant upgrade.
It's really up to the fields to grow paintball. Because, when you get I remember my first time, Urban Quest, went out with my friends, got the rental, the ball went, it was probably shooting like 150 FPS. I thought that was normal. Didn't shoot anyone all day except for one guy who I snuck up behind. But the rest of the day I was just getting blown apart. And I was with my friends, but other than that, I was not having a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring up the velocity thing because I never really thought about it, but nobody notices that. None of the rental people notice.
None of them go over the chrono.
You wouldn't know.
Hey, Raphael shooting low.
One guy's
they think it's from the tank. Yeah. Can you give me more pressure? Do it more. So it'll shoot farther. I'm like, sure. Here you go. Here's your 3,000 fill.
You have those
Make it,
kids
make it
all the time.
45. Make it 45. It'll shoot faster.
Yeah.
Yo, fool, I want the sniper guns.
Yeah.
Every single time. I want that sniper gun,
Yeah,
fool.
if you pump it extra times, it goes farther.
You got like 18-inch barrels for this gun? Yeah.
I had a 21-inch.
Yeah, really?
I did.
Dude, we saw some guy, was it a Super Game, rocking like a 25-inch barrel?
Jeez.
26?
Well, what was Eric's sniper barrel? That one had to be
That
like
one-
18 to 20, right?
21, but this guy had like a 25. And I was like, he was saying like, yeah,
Just for
I'm
shits
going to
and
get better
giggles?
accuracy. And I'm like, you're going to chop more balls and you're not going to get better
Also, when he
accuracy.
switches
You're
to a
losing
short
your
barrel,
yeah,
it's
losing
gonna
velocity.
fly.
Yeah, losing the
Got
velocity.
the pressure
velocity
and
and
yeah,
efficiency.
it'll be hard on paint.
Yeah, okay, so moving on from the EMAC. I mean, it's going to deserve some more attention, but let's wait until it comes out.
That's what we have.
I wanted to mention real quick that today there was the Planet Eclipse Open, which was played in Sydney, Australia, and they actually did a live stream,
3
which
o'clock.
I believe it's done now. It was at 3, but they were doing 15 balls per second, which to me is so much more fun to watch as a spectator.
Oh yeah.
10.5 and just like the tick, 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 tick. It wasn't as fun as just watching ropes and people just get destroyed.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Old school
Oh.
NXL when it was like 15.4 something like
Yeah.
that, and just.
I mean, the
just,
Splat Riots.
Yeah.
Those tournaments were fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell me a
so
little bit about Splat Riots. I don't know anything about it.
the Splat.
It was the Riot series, which was hosted by Team Wildcards, which was Aaron Hardwick and his team, which
Oh, I remember
included
those jerseys.
They're a
Lance
solid
Hardwick,
team.
which
I remember those jerseys.
I think
They
he
had
still
nice
plays.
jerseys.
Yeah, they had like
Yeah.
those cards.
Yeah.
Who was Lance playing with last? Was it Aftermath?
That's the question every tournament.
You look at
What new team is Lance
He's played on like a million.
He's played on.
times.
He's a great player. He's a very smart player, but he's played on a million teams.
By the way, someone was like, "Yeah, Splat Kids was second to Drama."
He-
Boo.
Yeah, we had a great rivalry with Drama.
Drama jerseys.
Actually, I was actually offered $10,000
to play for
to
Drama?
play for Drama.
Wow. But there was the rivalry. You can't switch
Yeah,
over.
nah, you can't,
You can't
yeah.
shoot your friends.
Yeah.
10 G's.
Oh man.
Yeah, 10 G's, 10 G's. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we're gonna be friends after the all said and done.
Those guys that are getting 4 legends a year probably would have switched over.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, you know what?
Right after
You're
the
right,
game.
because one of our players, when we were playing, I think it was still for Asylum, that was at that tournament that we had players quit. Mid-tournament, he goes over and he talks with NXN, and he's playing for NXN. I'm like, you schmuck.
Yeah.
like that.
And that was, I think,
An hour
Frankie
later.
was playing with NXN back then with
Yeah.
Big Paul and those guys.
Yeah.
I was like, you're a dick. And then back when we finally moved on and played as United and started getting some podiums, he crawled back and played with us
Nice.
and didn't do all that well.
My suggestion to up and coming teams, beginner teams, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Early on. Stick together, because you're gonna build that chemistry. You're gonna, after a while, you're gonna be like, you're gonna anticipate your teammates' next move. You're gonna be able to communicate and work and like come up with like little tricks where you're gonna get those extra G's.
And even
And
if
then
you
you're
don't
gonna
get
get
the
those
podiums,
Yeah, you gotta get the growing pains.
even if
Yeah.
you don't get the podiums, you
Stick
get
with
the
it.
friendships that last forever.
Yeah, it sucks
You
to
guys are looking
lose,
at
but
me, But I don't need these tips because I'm never going to play on a team. You got to look at the camera.
You've played, you know what? Let's see.
Unless it's
We've
10
known each
Gs.
other for a while now. We've known each other for a while now, and you hadn't played many tournaments, but you already played like 2 or 3 tournaments this year. So you're gonna be like, you'll probably be pro when you're 40.
Yeah.
Tournaments are getting more
Spanks,
fun
so-
now, though.
Yeah,
With,
with
like-
the 10 man, with
Yeah.
the pump.
The pump, the PBSL.
Alright, so
I was so burnt out from NXL. Even I was playing
Chosen 4.
full ride for NXL, and I was like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not playing. It's
All right,
so
we got some
boring.
comments.
Ugh.
Solar says Tom doesn't age well. Pictures are cool. Jimmy from Warboys says, damn it, missed all the 411. Gene says, Benji, I have the soundboards for the Revy, but he's probably talking about the Empire boards.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want the Empire
No,
board. I need the
don't need
Wasp
that.
board.
We got one Twitch comment, sup boys. And
Sup.
then you got the, and then
And
we
that's
got
Dirty Sanchez,
G-Mac
my favorite
Slider
move.
from Sean.
And you know what?
SoCal Zoom Cam.
Forget the sliders. Oh, the slider and that slider. Get a freaking hinge frame. They're easier to shoot. I don't understand.
For your autococker pump, you got to get that hinge frame.
Got it.
We got
The
Michael
hinge.
Burkhart. What up, homies?
I just like it.
And then Jimmy again says, "Bad boys, no."
Bocce's Bad Boys.
Bocce's Bad Boys.
Bocce's
no.
Bad Boys.
That's right. Okay, so moving
It's
on.
definitely a no, Jimmy.
Moving on, I wanted to mention real quick the Free Flow coming back. Short run. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's,
So Free Flow, you remember Free Flow? They
every
had
every
the autocockers,
autococker
yeah.
guy will.
the
Alright,
Millenniums,
Free Flow.
the Boxers, the Fulcrum. They had a lot of raced versions also. So they, a little late to the game getting back in on the autococker craze, but they came back and they said they would do 20 a piece of each, the Fulcrum, the Millennium, the Boxer, in 20 full and 20 minis of each. And they sold out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe
20
it.
full and 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's
20
super
full and
limited
20
run.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
just 20,
yeah.
20, and 20.
Yeah.
That's a
One of
collector's
my
run.
one of my buddies.
Those guns aren't even gonna get a shot.
Series, you
Yeah.
know, wood frame,
Yeah.
splash
So, one thing that I'm just
Yeah.
wondering
And it
about-
doesn't look like there's any changes, but one of my buddies actually picked up one of each. You got 6 pre-ordered.
Damn.
I
got
thought
the
it
money.
was-
why
I
not?
Ballin'.
thought they were only
Yeah.
doing.
Ballin'.
I thought there was only
How much
one
are they? Do you know
That's
the
done.
pre-order price?
Yeah,
$1,000.
it says right here.
Oh, I just see it there.
$1,000 for standard
gang.
black.
Wait, is that
Splash
full gun?
was
No,
150.
but the thing is, they only are having the Fulcrum come out right now. I think that's the only one that the pre-order
With the
was
price,
on.
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's the only one that you could pre-order.
Yeah,
right now.
well, here it says the release schedule for the Fulcrum is July 18 for the full, August 18 for the mini, then September, October for the Millennium, and November, December for the Boxer. But I don't know exactly how they're divvying it out. Maybe that's when they're actually sending them out.
Well, because I don't think they would have sold out if they released all of those at once. I think they only released that one style.
I think you're doing run. I think you're doing runs.
I
of
think
just the
they might.
Yeah.
first batch
I
because they're a
think
pain in
it's-
the ass to make.
Exactly.
So
I
I don't know. I think they might, because
Now you're
just in the Cocker horrors, there's enough to buy most of these, and then the guys who support Free Flow.
All right. Well, that's a debate for next show.
Yeah, but it said it came with the Pro 45 slider frame, the integrated dovetail, wire beaver tail, a unibody feed neck,
see, that's the one question I
a
have.
die
is
ultralight.
The pictures
Unibody.
look like at least the front black one has the WGP plastic frame on it. But obviously the other ones are anodized.
It's
So
don't
it's
forget
the
to shave
Pro-
down your revies, guys.
no,
It's like a CP rag.
no,
but it does say
Dan,
Pro
that's
45
not the
slider.
plastic because it's got the beaver tail. Or not the beaver tail, it's got the dovetail
Yeah.
built in, which you don't see on the plastic WGPs.
You're right, but I think that's
It just-
photoshopped on. I'm pretty sure that they have pictured the plastic one. I'll get a plastic one. out
Definitely
right now.
Photoshop.
You know what?
Technical.
You know what? Now that he mentions it, look at the.
Just for the sake of me being right, it was Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's definitely chopped on.
You might be right,
I
but
think I'm right, but it does say Pro 45, so
yeah, and it's
it's
We'll go with that.
coming the aluminum.
yeah, so it's coming with an
I've seen
ultralight.
enough of those like broken plastic frames.
I
Yeah,
doubt it'll be plastic though.
and it says it
No, I
comes
don't
with
think it says Pro 45, so
yeah,
it's coming with an aluminum one.
it's coming with the free flow pneumatics, and it's it looks like they have like a carbon fiber free flow ram. Maybe it's just wrapped in a
Yeah, I
carbon
think it's
fiber
just
wrap.
an aesthetic thing. So we got Mike Thompson. He says only the Fulcrum Full has been available in their store, and that's their Facebook store.
So I gotta ask my buddy because he said he got 6. I can't imagine he got 6 Fulcrum.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Maybe he did.
Uh,
Who knows?
Wow.
And it also
I
comes
better
with
call
a
it
free flow barrel cover and a certificate of authenticity.
Hey.
There you go. That's for
That's,
collectors.
honestly,
Well,
that's
that's
not a bad
people
price
like-
for the rarity.
No, that's so that people aren't like, hey man, that's one of the Chinese bodies.
Yeah.
Because they did.
You got that
have
on Alibaba.
some, I
Yeah,
think
we
that were.
talked about
So,
that.
Yeah.
and we were kind of talking about what kind of effect this would have on, older versions of these guns. Because before Shock Tech released their guns, let's say the 09 SFL, Shock Tech was 900-ish. And then after Shock Tech released their new guns, you try to get an 09 SFL and it's like 1500, 1600. It's like the Shock Tech drove people just to get all the Shock Tech guns, and it drove up the price considerably. So maybe Free Flow re-releasing these instead of dropping the price of their older guns will actually have the same effect. Because I know, the Millenniums and the Fulcrums, let's see, the Boxers, I don't think even like a complete nice setup with the slider, I don't think I've seen them go for more than $650.
Oh, wow.
600.
The purists will want the originals, so I'd imagine the price would go up. I mean, even basic pro stock prices off of WGP, went up by a little bit. Wow, I'm like, never would I imagine that this would be $250.
And I'm not seeing too many differences other than the carbon fiber wrapped RAM. I don't know if the dovetail was stock on the original Free Flow
10 out of 10, bro.
release guns.
10 out of 10.
No, I don't think so. I think that some of the lockout players had that machine on too.
Okay, so there are some differences. But, I really liked some of the, what was it?
You're going to go for it again, huh?
Yeah.
I love
Man Coffee.
some of the Free Flow
Thanks, Joe Rogan.
Anos.
Oh, we're good.
All right, it's all good.
Didn't stain the jersey.
I think my favorite Free Flow Ano was that marble. The marble.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. It was kind of like a black and yellow looking marble. I'll try to find
it's like a cloudy kind of thing.
picture of it.
I have I think it's a Lotus it's like a race frame Lotus with like that brown and yellow kind of like, is that an acid wash? I don't really know, but it's...
I think it's an acid wash.
They had some pretty like, I don't know, you couldn't really say proprietary probably, but anodizing that was really signature to them. Some anodizing jobs that were really signature to Free Flows.
So,
And that's like the yellow that you see in their poster behind Tom. It's kind of like one that you somewhat associate with Free Flow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you a picture. It's not the best one, but you can put it up behind us of a marble Millennium. And I think this actually is my old one. Yeah. There it is. It's one of my old ones.
Plastic frame.
No, it's got a benchmark frame, I believe. Or is it a professional? No, it's a Free Flow professional frame, but not matching Ano. But I thought it was nice. Although it doesn't look as nice as I remember in this picture, at least. But I had a nicer one somewhat recently that I did sell.
Because
at
you
least
did get a couple cool Free Flows in with your race gun stuff, didn't you? I thought I remembered seeing a couple in there. Well, yeah, the one that you sold me, the lockout one.
That one was cool, and I sold one to. Was it Dan Bewley? I sold him a marble. Is it a marble? I think it was an all matching Ano marble one with race frame, which was pretty cool. I don't know, they were pretty cool guns.
I just hope they do well. Hope they do well, so.
Definitely.
I mean, they're really, really cool.
Yeah, honestly,
Paul buys one, so
they'll all sell out.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And I hope hope this maybe continues on more than 20, another run.
I'm kind of sad I didn't
get one.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad I didn't get one of the Fulcrums because I think that's my favorite style. I think it's the lightest one. I know that the Millenniums were crazy heavy.
So Paul just commented on Twitch. Paul, did you buy one? Did you get it on the pre-order? And Jimmy Mag says, that's from Jimmy from Warboys, said, anybody know anything about Rob's niche Cobra guns? And Rob,
I heard a little bit about it through the grapevine, but not much.
He posted some photos of the pump handle, and it's like entirely carved up. So I think it's
what's it called? The niche Cobra?
Yeah, I think you can probably look on his page.
Okay, before we do that, Dan, bring up the picture of the back block that Gene is making.
Okay.
So Gene from AutoCockerParts.com put a little teaser on his Facebook group showing a carnivore back block with dual rods. So effectively you could use one of the slice kits with a quad rod on the carnivore, which you hadn't been able to do yet. And I thought that was pretty cool.
So for the few people that actually have a carnivore,
there's a ton of carnivores.
They can get 30 of them.
Yeah.
I still think the carnivore is the best looking autococker there ever was. I think
well,
oh,
I mean, it's sick, and it's like completely different than anything else.
Yeah. And that's why they're going for like $1,200 now,
like,
which is insane.
Yeah.
WGP made or just cocker body in general?
WGP made.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, in terms of cocker body in general,
I think overall it's still top 5.
Yeah, I guess I could agree with that.
I mean, it's kind of lost.
I like the Predator.
The Predator's nice, but think about if you'd never seen a carnivore, because we've all seen carnivores. We played with carnivores. Mm-hmm. We had carnivores over the years. Imagine if you'd never seen one and then you saw a carnivore. That's a damn nice gun.
Yeah,
no,
it's intricate milling. It's cool.
And especially the
looks like a dragon,
ones, like which I think is what Gene's pictured one is, right?
Yeah.
Where it has the matte and the gloss, or the 2 different colors. Pretty sick. I also want to just show the photo that Gene posted of. Let's see if I can find it, of all of the Eclipse blocks and the Eclipse bodies that he found.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He found a stash of. It was.
Or he just had a machine. One of the 2.
I don't know. It was Eclipse Factory.
Exactly. I'll give the benefit of the doubt.
Well, it was Eclipse Factory bodies with 60 back blocks for them, but then there was the jewels, which I think those jewels are $30-$40 a piece. So just in jewels, he's got like $1,500 there, which is it's nice.
I mean, these bodies look like the kind of leftover bodies that WGP was selling. Like I bought one from a guy in Santa Monica who had bought one from.
Are they blems?
No, not necessarily blems. I don't really know what the story is, but I know that some were sold by WGP, like at events, I think, and that's, they didn't have jewels. Like the one that I got, the guy bought it from, I think, Sonny Lopez, or got it from someone else at an event, and it has the raw back block like that, and it doesn't have the jewel.
Got it. Well, he said he's keeping the bodies, but he's going to sell the back blocks and the jewels.
Gene will sell it. He'll sell them.
I don't know, unless it goes back in storage. So I'm looking at, you said to, here, do you have a picture of the Cobra pump, or should I send you one?
Send me one.
You know what, here, just look it up, because I'm having an issue. So, Niche did post up a picture, here you guys can see, of what he's calling the Cobra pump, which will come on the new Cobra Vector. Now, so is he rebranding Niche to Cobra? Because it was the Niche Vector. Is it a special Cobra Edition Vector?
I think that'll be just a special edition. Or another version.
I think it's just another name of the Vector.
Because probably the design is going to look scary.
I think it looks cool, but I think it's in kind of... I hate to say it, but it's in kind of poor taste to come out with a new gun when there was a bunch of issues with the old gun, and...
Well, I think it's probably the same platform, so I think he's still, he's fixing that platform, and...
But I haven't seen him on the scene, I haven't seen him posting, and I know a lot of people had vectors that didn't work, and they tried, they put real effort into trying to get them to work, and they didn't work, and they're
I think
it's kind of hard getting a hold of them, so...
Yeah, I think the latest is that Gene was helping people resolve those problems and kind of acting as the intermediary between Rob and customers.
Also, to be fair, didn't he have health problems as well? I mean,
that's true.
It's like a single man job. To be fair,
but I mean, that's I don't know, more of my point. Like, so Gene is helping these customers before releasing a new product. Make sure all the customers are taken care of. Make sure everyone with the Vector is like, I freaking love this Vector, rather than selling him for, I think I've seen him for sale for like $400. When if that gun shot well, that's a $600-$700 gun for sure. So I don't know if the pump looks really cool. I don't know that I'd be on the first run. I want to see issues worked out.
Yeah, I understand where it comes from.
So we got Spakio is asking, does anyone have a sock hat for sale?
we got one on the bed right there.
Trying to get in on that sale.
Ooh, Zucchini says he has an extra cap sock, but he did promise it to me.
Ooh. All right. What else do we got to talk about today, Benji?
Okay. What about that? I mean, we got more. Do we have to end?
I don't know. I'm trying to see what Rose is doing.
Okay.
She hasn't messaged
so
back, so we'll give it like 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Nate, what's new at INI? Give us some INI gossip.
Not that thing. We're still chugging along.
Tell us about the double barrel that you saw. Did the guy actually bring that in and show it to you?
Oh, no, it's just
talk about that too.
It's just something that we get these random emails from China that they have paintball product out there, and it's really interesting stuff that either they Facebook message or II Sports Facebook account or just through messages or email, and a lot of interesting stuff in there. I mean, I've seen some really. I'm like, isn't this copyright or is this owned by a different company?
Yeah,
because
and
I see like regulators that look similar to that of an Empire regulator from like the Empire Basics line of tanks, remote lines, of course, and just other basic like air parts, like burst discs and whatnot. But some of the interesting stuff that I did see there was like paintball markers, and after just randomly we just asked him, do you have anything else that's not on the catalog? And he's like, well, I got all these old bodies. And I'm like, we're talking about like old bodies, meaning like
my buddy has
again, English isn't really that strong over there, but so I'll just like
response.
Well, like we wouldn't say bodies, I would say bodies, parts. And I'm like thinking, like, are they like the frame of the gun?
Wasn't so sweet.
Trigger? And he's like, no, they're like actual. And do you know what brand they are? So, because I'm trying to allude to like maybe it's autococker stuff. And it's like apparently he sent me a little just a message picture, and it turned out to be a copper-looking body. I'm not sure which version it is. It's not anodized or something like that. Only thing I'm worried about is it's Chinese metal. So you all remember the psychoballistic guns, so where you can scratch it with your fingernails.
All too well.
They're not too bad.
Crummy guns.
The other day when we were at HSP, John from Gateway was telling me about working for Kingman, and he used to work for Kingman, and he was saying that, he was telling me a little bit about the operation that Arthur Chang, I think that was his name, he was the president of Kingman, and his family actually, they produced not only spiders in, it must have been in China, right?
Yeah.
They produced not only spiders, but they produced a whole bunch of different markers, and it's not RAP4, it's do you know what that company is?
Probably
it's like
Huaijing.
QU.
Yeah, I know what you're alluding to. Like you see a lot of spider stack tube.
But they also did like
VM.
They also did like VM clones, and that's one of the things that's interesting. Is like, why would you make a VM clone when you can make a spider clone?
Yeah.
And it'd be so much lighter and.
I mean, it's something really cool. I mean, you can tell like if it's.
What was the VM clone called?
It was a double barrel.
They had all different kinds of. I mean, they had a single barrel VM clone also. They made a clone of a VM, and it was essentially a VM. Like they just cloned the
VM68.
Yeah. And maybe when they actually started making those, Benjamin Sheridan or Crossman was still producing the VM. I don't know. Like I don't know the time frame for when they actually made those. So it's kind of interesting.
I mean, I see some like Chinese knockoffs of the stack tube blowbacks we're talking about, like a double-barreled spider. I know that I think Alibaba or like I forget what it's called.
I've never seen one of those.
It's on MCB. Yeah.
No, that's. I think it. Nate and I were debating this earlier, but I think it's a double barrel VM. He thinks it's a double barrel spider.
Double barrel spider.
Wait, what was that one called? I think I do
it's
recall
like
this.
S4, I think. Something like that.
I remember wanting one and then.
They had them in like.
I remember that like
camo anodizing too.
Yeah, okay, I remember. It was like a couple $100 for a double barrel. I'm like, I need this, and then I just saw everyone going, no, you don't.
They had a lot of issues. I don't think they got enough volume to really shoot at velocity. So tell us a little bit about your automatic, Benji.
Okay, well, before I do that, Tom was saying his buddy has one with the auto response frame, and I was like, I had one to start, and so when I had my auto response, just getting into paintball is my brother's old gun. You could rip 13 balls a second on it.
Yeah.
I had no concept in my brain of overshooting, outshooting a hopper.
Yeah.
So I had a 9-volt Revy, and just chopping was constant. But like
that's 9-volt. That's like.
Yeah. For like 8 months, I was just okay with that. I was like, that's why they got the quarter-turn barrel, because you just chop a lot.
Yeah.
You clean it. I would squeegee with the pull-through, and Yeah, but
just my wire detail.
this one I picked up on eBay somewhat recently, and it came with this gnarly silencer. Who's who makes the silencer, Dan?
Probably Tasso. It's probably
Tasso.
Yeah.
And
one of the interesting
it's like
things
filled
on
with
that,
foam
though,
inside.
Yeah, well, it's sponge. It's
Sponge.
like bristle pad from sponges.
Non-functional,
Right.
just you know.
Yeah, if there's a lot of water, then it absorbs some of that water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I got it pictured here with this like weird car part turned gas
you
through
have a
stock.
Double stock. That's like if you
Double
lose-
stock.
Anyone knows what that is? We're
Yeah,
debating
what?
if it's
No, this is. I just wanted to see if it would fit. You definitely
if you
wouldn't use
lose
it with
parts
two
from your first
stocks.
stock, you can
Well,
move
yeah,
on to
but
your
still.
next stock.
Yeah, this I must have gotten this like 10 years ago, and I don't know what it's made out of. Maybe someone can tell me. We're guessing some kind of car part.
I think about like
But
gun
it's,
stand. It's a gun stand.
It's a gas through stock. Still pretty comfortable. It's definitely not a gun
I
stand.
think it's the bottom of a
If you
jack.
stuck a gun,
You
it
know
would
what?
just
I'm
like
not- yeah,
fall
for real.
over.
It's like
But
solid
yeah.
of aluminum.
This my dad was going through like the attic. We don't have an attic, but it was an area that we don't go into.
The
And
only area in the house that's not filled with 3D printers
yeah, and
or spindle.
he
quarter,
found
whatever that's
a
called.
bin full of PGPs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hell yeah! And then this was in the bottom of it, and I was like, I remember having this at one point.
Didn't know what it
So,
was then.
yeah.
Don't know what it is now.
So let's talk a little bit
Don't
about
know what
the
it is.
hyperball at Ambush.
Yeah.
So what's up with that is Glenn building that in hopes that somebody will do like an old school tournament there.
Oh, we're definitely
Well-
definitely gonna host like some tournaments on there.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Um,
given, but it's also just an extremely fun
Yeah.
field for rec ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed when they took the hyperball out of SC Village.
Oh, yeah, that was-
always so much fun.
Yeah. Speaking for myself, but I grew up playing like
Yeah.
on those fields. Like nothing's more fun as far as like speedball than hyperball.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know what it is. You know, there's no give to the bunker. It's just right there. There's no, you know.
It forces you to gunfight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
And
splatter.
and just like
Yeah.
all the noise. It's so much louder, and it's like whoa.
It's
Yeah.
a bowl. like a
Yeah.
bowl, yeah.
So
Um,
we actually played at Ambush on the hyperball field for the first week last week
Mhm.
or week before last, and it played really well. I thought it was a finished product, but Glenn
No.
said it wasn't. He hadn't put up the wood blockers for the center of the
Yeah.
hyperball bunkers because we were getting a lot of shots through it. So
we're still adding, you know, little things here and there. You know, I'm telling Glenn, oh, you know what? I think these bunkers are a little too narrow for, you know, more than one person to be playing. Like, let's add something to it. Sure enough, he did.
yeah, some of them were a
we've
little
been adding
narrow,
wood
like
to different parts to block the holes and just
That
to make
center
sure
50 was
it's
pretty
perfect.
tight.
But yeah, on Monday we did a ref day. Some of the regulars and all the refs came out and we all played, and we were doing like 5-on-5s on that field like all day, and then we played all the other fields, but it was so much fun. The turf is like brand new.
I think it's
soft,
like one of the only hyperball
grips well.
fields with turf. Period.
Well,
So.
Combats has
combat.
turf, right?
Yeah, combat
Yeah.
has turf.
They're different kinds of hyperball fields. Like they're both technically hyperball, but I feel like the one at Ambush has more bunkers, maybe, or
Possibly.
more hyperball style bunkers, while the ones at Combat are bigger.
Bigger,
They're not
yeah.
like the OG hyperball
Yeah, I
bunkers.
feel like
they
the ones at
both
Combat are more like,
they both play really fun.
you know, they're all kind of perpendicular. The like
You're talking about like
field.
it's more tournaments, you know, close to a
Whereas
tournament.
like when you're
That
playing
and
the one,
The bunkers are more creative.
Oh,
There's
Yeah.
more to them. They're more intricate. There's, you know, some that look like a submarine, you know, and
Okay.
you know the other snake's different from the
close
other
to like a
snake. Yeah,
layout they would
Yeah.
have at
yeah,
a
at a tournament,
yeah.
but
They're both
hyperball.
they're both really fun. It's actually nice that they're not carbon copies. You could go to either field and get a different
Different,
feel.
yeah, totally. Try them both out.
yeah, I think.
Oh. Super neutral guy.
Yeah,
Glenn's like that. You're docking your
I just got it. Yeah,
demoted.
there goes that raise.
Walt, you're the manager now.
Let's see, we got a question from Sean, so Zoom Cam. He says, Tom, is it open group or rotating walk on? And I'm not sure if he
I
means.
think he's
It's
talking about the hyperball field.
hyperball,
Like, can
yeah.
you just
It's-
walk on, or is it just?
Yeah, you can walk
Oh,
on.
okay.
I've been pressuring Glenn to have a an extra staff that can just stay on that field,
just
because
SC Village
exactly.
So
well, I don't know if back in the day when we used to jump on a hyperball field or even jump on an airball field, depending on who it was, if you're with a bunch of your homies, you didn't need a ref. So if it's like experienced players wanting to play hyperball, you know.
I mean, I don't think they let you do that anywhere. I mean, we can do that at ambush sometimes. Just because
if I know, if we know who the guys are, and you know, we'll turn a blind eye. You know, everyone keeps their mask on, but if
I guess
any of you know, because the field's right there, I can keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean,
but if anyone messes with that, no,
that's it. In ambush, that hyperball field is right behind the container.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but anywhere else, it's like the fields. It's too much of a liability to have anybody without a ref. I would think.
I totally agree with that.
Right. Okay. So right now only rotating walk on, but
rotating
maybe
walk
in the
on
future,
and a lot of open play there.
Yeah, Jack Wada says he needs stand-up bunkers, and the wider the better. There are stand-up bunkers on that field.
Yes,
should be good.
And
to go.
we added more bunkers to the back bunkers, just to make them wider. So
I'm so like that center 50.
It's perfect for me.
Like it's super.
So
I like playing the center 50, but I feel like for the average person, maybe needs a little more height on the top corners of the sides.
Okay.
Sean says make it happen.
Make it happen. You got it, Sean.
We just care about wider bunkers.
Just make a list. Just make a list, and we'll do it. Yeah. Every single week, we we find things to that field and make little improvements. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the experience that our customers have on that field is gonna determine if they come back. And it's very important to make sure everyone has a great time.
Are you doing work on any of the other fields?
A little bit. Todd and Ken and some of the other guys have been using wood to add to a couple of our further out fields, Whoville and our trench field.
Cool. I did notice at HSP when we played this last weekend that they added a ton of bunkers.
They did. I think they did that a while ago, though.
Add a ton,
maybe I just hadn't noticed.
Yeah,
no, they added serious. Like if Forbidden City.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, normally you go past the tunnels and then you're right into like, you know, the boxes on the right side. Mm-hmm. Now there's like a giant statue thing, which is now the corner of the field, and there's just extra boxes and extra. There's probably like 30 something extra bunkers on that field.
Yeah,
wow.
Because of the airsoft fields, so
it played really nice.
A little bit.
So we only have a couple minutes left, but let's just talk about a couple things really quick. Paul said that they used to have the speedball at HSP under that giant overhang thing. Is that for real?
Talk about the arena.
The arena?
Yeah.
And that actually used to be hosted by the Bushwhackers.
Which overhang is he talking about?
You'd have to walk all the way over to get air. But the Bushwhackers brought in their own compressor, and if you were playing against them, you could use it.
You're just talking about the back, like, stadium.
Yeah, that stadium area used to be.
Now.
That's where we all used to practice.
Really? Yeah. All right, so I didn't live here, so, you know. Let's talk about a couple things really quick.
Okay.
Here, Nate, hold these up. Talk about what these are.
You tell me.
Okay, so Nate got these when he was clearing out Tombstone Reball Center. And these are just some of the original banners from Tombstone Reball. And he also brought a kind of huge one.
Like a Splat logo.
He brought a really massive.
Flip it around. Is it the same on both sides? Oh, okay. We're looking at the back. No, you were good. You were good. Hold it up there.
Is it the same on both sides?
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Open any hours. Is that what it says?
Because there's also.
I thought it would be reversed.
Banner too, so.
It's different, but yeah, here's just the giant Tombstone Factory banner with the hours and. Etc. It's still kind of held together with little pins and stuff.
Yeah, don't drop any of those.
I still have a lot of there's also trophies out there.
Yeah, so
at the store. I mean, I just kept them because I figured somebody might want to come back and collect them.
Yeah, so if
they're
you
from like Pan Am, they're from
and they say what on them?
It doesn't have a name of the team. Some do, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember it off my head.
Gotcha.
But I have them. They were at 2 so the guys played there, played for the team. factory team or played against them.
If any of your old trophies were at the Tombstone Reball Park, then you got to hit up Nate.
Yeah, we collected
Nate's got
Tombstone Reball.
And before
going to the highest bidder.
Exactly, $5.
The person with the most authentic memories towards those items.
So, by all means, if somebody.
So I was 3D printing like mad this week, filling a bulk order for my Cram Jams, but in my spare time I messed with a couple new goodies. So this is a Cram Jam that just bolts directly onto a Phantom. So goes on to this one as such. Voila, good to go.
Nice.
These little finishing.
I think the thing I was most impressed by is the reg removal tool, and I'm excited to try this on some of my garbage tanks.
I printed these two, but these aren't original designs. I got these
too small, I think,
off
for the top.
Thingiverse.
But I guess your reg isn't usually
No,
gonna
that's
be
just
up that high.
the tip. So this is.
Oh, I guess your ASA threads will sit through in there.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So this is a reg removal tool. It's got like a little cutout area here where your gauge would slip in and kind of find a groove, and then you got a fill nipple tool.
All right, next.
I'll buy one.
And then this one is just
wrenches.
a Empire Sniper handle. So not sure how well that's gonna work yet, but
You played with the Empire Sniper the other day, and you actually you liked it, so that was pretty good.
yeah,
And those are like a wider pump handle.
it shot really
Yeah.
nicely, and then I printed out a bunch more of the Phantom kits, and it's just really smooth. This one doesn't bind up at all.
I'll check it out in a moment.
Check it out later.
All right, so the only thing I wanted to talk about was I saw on one of the Facebook groups, the Old School Paintball Guns group, they were talking about the PS15 Marauder, and the only PS15 Marauder I've been able to find is this one. And this one is, you know, it has the bottom feed, you put your banana clip on here, and I think the PS15 Marauder dates to 1987.
Do you have a banana clip?
No, I don't have a banana clip. This is the only one I've been able to find. Didn't have the banana clip, and somebody had the bright idea of, you know, it's supposed to feed from the bottom, but I want to put a hopper on it. So I'm going to flip it over, cut an extra sear notch on the bottom, and like JB weld a feed on here.
Like the only one you could find is just cut to
exactly. And the only salvageable thing on it is the rail, but you can see that the actual Nell Spot grip frame, or I guess this is technically a Daisy grip frame, but used on the Nell Spot, is actually cut on the front, and that clips into the banana clip right there. And then the rail has the hole right here that the magazine feeds through, and
oh man, if you ever actually find one and you make a like a sling for it, you got to call it the banana hammock.
Yeah, definitely.
Call it the Borat.
The Grim Reaper was asking on the 3D stuff, is it PETG? Yes, sir. And yeah, I haven't actually tried out the reg removal tool or that handle because I pulled them off the printer like, I don't know, half an hour before we started streaming, but I'll do a little test video of them.
Yeah. All right, any last words?
Yeah, any final questions?
Well, I was mainly asking you guys. I don't really care about
Oh, well, I just want to thank Nate and Tom for hanging out, as always.
For weathering the traffic.
Yeah, anytime.
Hopefully it's a little nicer going home.
And the good news is, you know, I saw that the strip club around the corner is free admission tonight.
Oh, well.
They had a sign out there.
But do they have a buffet?
Free admission.
Do they have a buffet? Dinner?
It's
missing out, man.
they actually do have a buffet. It's only clams.
It's only clams?
Tacos.
That's what the smell is.
Pink tacos and bearded clams.
Yeah.
I'd be worried that strip club has free admission.
And I guess I wanted Nate to talk about that barrel, but we can save it for next time. Do you want to bust through it?
Sure. Really quick. Okay, this is a barrel that I guess INI Sports pretty much just commissioned Sanchez's machine to make for us. We had a bunch of these Avalanche series backs. Wow. I think the fronts, but they were all old school angel threads. So what are we going to do with it? I mean, it's still a viable barrel for a lot of folks. So, all right, let's switch it up. We can make a barrel, you know, standard 12, 14-inch barrel kit or whatever. Or we'll just grab a bunch of these and just make a short barrel for the hell of it. This was before my time, so I'm just assuming that. So it came with a Sanchez machine, I guess, Angel to
autococker
adapter.
And it just slides on versus like being extra meat on the back, which I like.
Yeah. Only downside with this one was that you know, careful when you over tighten it. You know, this thing can get stripped and kind of get stuck in there sometimes, so heads up on that. And we also made this little short little nub front for it.
That's your close quarters tip.
Yeah.
Which I want to say fits dye ultralights also in boomsticks.
Yeah, because that's what it was made from. Originally from the JT barrels, we had one that was all black. I think the bore size on that one was a little bit big, 687. So I remember rocking these when I first started working at INI Sports back in 11. I was like, hey, let's
Damn, you've been working there since 11?
Yeah, don't remind me, my man. I know.
It flies.
If anyone has, offering a, job.
Yeah, you love it there. You're not playing INI Sports.
Yeah, but this was actually really cool, really fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, I use it for a pump, but remember, anything with a short barrel, careful with the tips of your fingers. All the pump handles, so I was able to shoot.
I mean, I'm excited to use that on one of my guns soon.
Yeah, what's the bore size on this one?
Those adapters,
686, it was 686, my bad.
8.6 isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Plus with the
Especially
cocker
with
back,
that paint,
I can
right?
just...
Yeah, I mean, our new paint, that's too big.
It's too...
You gotta get a new one.
small.
But the cool thing about
You know how
those
stoked I am to
adapters-
shoot that paint?
Yeah, it shot great.
I know, I gotta go find all my old the larger size freak barrel.
Everyone's been selling their 9.3s and their
yeah,
9.1s.
I don't even bring any of those with me anymore. But the nice thing about those adapters is that the Angel 2 autococker thread adapters in the back is that you can bore like the Angel.
Yeah, you can freak bore the Angel back and still have...
the Angel die backs.
Right.
You have enough meat probably to freak bore those backs. And so if you find the aluminum Angel backs, they're probably, or the aluminum Angel, or no, the titanium, I'm like spacing
Stainless.
Yeah.
the titanium
The titanium
Angel
ones,
die barrels, they're probably going to be less expensive than the autococker ones.
I haven't seen like any titanium boomsticks for sale.
Oh, for sale.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, well,
No, but I'm thinking I don't know how hard it would be for him to mill a bunch more of those backs because I have so many Angel barrels kicking around. And that's a smart idea.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking for these, we don't have them anymore. They stopped production on that. I guess when Sanchez kind of like, slowed down the paintball aspect. Yeah.
Right.
So
the adapters. We have plenty of these tips though. For some odd reason, we have plenty of these tips.
What do you guys sell them for?
I don't think we're even selling them, so I might consider putting it back up because we didn't have the adapters.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if they fit on.
But they fit on the. Well, you need to make sure because I think. What was it?
Sure,
I put a
JT barrel.
I put a JT tip into an ultralight back, and it did fit pretty well, but you could see just a sliver of a
you have to
seam.
look at it in the light to see
but
and it'll be.
It didn't affect the shot at all. But double check that those do fit in a boomstick back, and just stick those on eBay for $20-$25.
Does anyone really want these? I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're collecting them with all your other INI sports stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's not like thousands of people are gonna be dying for them.
Yeah,
but
I remember when they made
off.
these little nubs for like the freak kit, and I was like, man, I kind of want one.
Yeah.
You know how much those go for now? Like $40-something.
The White Wolf ones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
White Wolf. It was White Wolf. Yeah. I just
Jimmy says, who can freak bore titanium barrels? You gotta talk to Paul, man. Paul Schreck. All right, so that's it. That's our show.
That's it, guys.
Don't go any longer.
Thanks for
Thanks
joining.
thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for all the
Tom.
Black Kids history.
Of course.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
We basically
We
let
were
you
not
run your mouth.
worthy.
Yeah, it
We
was
were
good
not
because I was
worthy.
spacing out that whole time. Although I got some of it.
Yeah.
But,
I'm glad I'm so captivating.
And Tom, you need to go into the
Speedball
strip. Yeah, you got to go into the strip club with all the medals dangling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a winner.
Like we just won.
Oh, bottle service over here, right?
We got Daniel from Killshot Customs. He says, I want. I don't know if he's talking
He says,
about.
I hoard, I want.
You're pointing
He
at
wants
me.
a little freak tip.
I mean, like, hey, bro.
I think he wants that little
And actually, speaking about
This or this?
speaking about Daniel, he saved my ass because I had that race gun gothic looking prototype body, which is like one of 3, and I had it anode by Paul Schreck and in my big lot of anodized stuff, and I got it back and I'm like, oh man, that looks so good. The back block isn't drilled.
Oh shit.
And I was like, oh fuck my life. And he said I could do it for you, and he sent me a picture of it. I mean, it looks good. I mean, Daniel, did you anno it after the fact? Like, it didn't even seem like there was raw metal.
Well, he'll have to answer that later because
yeah,
cut us off
we're
now.
done.
So,
and Daniel wants just the tip.
Yeah, he says just the tip, so you got to give him just the tip, Nick.
All right. Later, guys.
So where's our camera at? There we go.
Take it
All
easy.
Right.